Hi, I'm Rebecca Keller. I teach at Northwestern State University Elementary Lab School. I am most passionate about empowering students to be leaders inside the classroom and outside the classroom, which includes being effective communicators. This is a fourth grade classroom that you're going to see. The resources that I used to create this lesson came from various curriculums: Spark, Open, and Catch. During this lesson, you'll see students having the opportunity to collaborate, communicate with their peers, offer feedback with one another, challenge themselves through a creation station. And even the stations that I create, I'll give them an opportunity to enhance it. If it's too easy for them, let's talk about what can we do to make it more challenging for them. Students are grouped heterogeneously. My ELL student was placed with a bilingual, will be placed with a bilingual student. And I did explain all stations. I will explain all stations, but I know that I won't have time to video all of them within this 10-minute video that I have to put here. So you'll see some of the stations being explained, but I probably won't show you all of them. Prior to the lesson, students worked on hockey dribbling. We learned about those critical elements that it takes to hold a hockey stick. We had the opportunity to work on safety, spacing, and all of those great things. Today's focus objective is going to be striking that object with an implement as well, the hockey stick and the hockey puck. And then targeting. We're going to send an object to a target using the critical elements that it takes to do that. So they'll be practicing both of those objectives as we're going through. I know I didn't say to talk about standards, but standard 4 I reference in here. It's not one of the focus objectives, but I want to note that all my lessons include standard 4, which is all about behavior. So we always focus on safety, thinking about how you work with each other, how you talk to one another, all of those great things. You'll also see me walk around with an iPad. I will be using it to manipulate the music, but I also use it as an assessment component. I actually have a form that I keep in my Google Docs that has everybody listed. I changed the objective or the focus since they already should know those critical elements. Today I'm going to be walking around and making notes to see where I need to intervene, who I need to pull at our next lesson so I can give them some more one-on-one feedback. And I think that's all it takes to see my lesson today. Thanks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Arm circles. Ready? Go.
What do we work on? Behavior, socially and individually. When I say individual behavior, what do you think that means? How you treat yourself, right? How are we talking to ourselves? Are we encouraging ourselves? Are we saying, I can't do this? Are we saying encouraging things? I got this. I'm going to do my best, right? So as we're going through, standard number 4 is always here. We're always working on it. So our main focus objective today is really going to go with standard number 1. So today we're going to be striking an object with an implement using those critical elements. Yesterday in class we talked about what the critical elements were when the implement that we're using this week is a hockey stick. And so we talked about what the critical elements were in order to hold that hockey stick. I want you to stand up, turn to your neighbor, and I want you to tell your neighbor what those critical elements are in order to strike that implement today. All right, share with your neighbor now.
You can't write it
You're gonna make sure that we're striking this. Every station that we have set up today, you're gonna be striking an object with an implement. It may be a hockey stick like this. It may be a foam hockey stick. All right? But while you're working, you need to make sure that you're following those critical elements. Oh, what is the other thing? Our blade needs to be where? On the ground. Why do we not want to lift it up in PE class? Yes, sir.
Because we can hit something.
That's it. We want to be safe. In a real hockey game, we don't have they have tons of equipment. In here, we don't have it. So we want to make sure we're safe so our blade can stay on the ground. You don't need to lift it higher than the ankle, okay? We're also going to be working with another standard today. We're going to be working, not a standard, an objective. We're going to send an object to a target using the critical elements in a stable environment. So we're sending the object to a target. What do you need to have going on? Just think. If I'm trying to hit the hockey puck to Cohen, what needs to happen? I want you to turn to the neighbor and tell them what needs to happen. My body parts are going to make sure you're following those critical elements. Your hand properly elevate the hockey stick. Your hand move back up. There you go. The other's going to hit it. Your hand's going to stop it. Well, I want you to stop it and then hit it. In the real game, you can do what you just did. I want you to stop it and then hit it. All right, I want you to receive it and be able to hit it. I know we were focusing on hockey today. I want you to think, when could I use this outside of playing hockey? What other activities, what other things can you do to use those same objectives with different, in a different activity or setting? Tell a neighbor next to you. 2v2. I saw a lot of people doing 2v2 over there, and that's awesome. That's great. But is there anybody else? Kennedy, what did you come up with?
Because we only had 3 people, we put 6 cones, and we had then we had on a different thing, so all of these, and then instead of it being fair.
So it wasn't 1 versus 1, it was 1 versus 1 versus 1. So it was like, so everybody had their own goals. Cool. I like that as a neat game. Anybody else had, I know some people didn't get a chance to get to that goal. But the next time you come, we will definitely meet those stations. I do have some hockey activities that we're going to go through the next time you come. So I wanted you to take a look at today's success criteria. Remember, in order to get that 3, that means you did everything you're supposed to. You need to use those critical elements to strike an object with an implement. Exhibit responsible behavior today. Did you adjust your performance to ensure that you're playing safe? And did you solve conflicts? I want you to think about how would you rate yourself. Remember, 3 is doing all of those things, 4 is going over and beyond. 2 and 1 means that you missed something. I want you to tell your neighbor what your score would be and why. All right, so as we debrief, my lesson objectives I thought were definitely met. I know that because I analyzed the data that I was collecting as I was walking around with the students. Students are also constantly reference objectives throughout the lesson. They were able to give each other feedback to their peers, and they also self-reflected differently. What I would do differently. I found myself stopping a lot at station number 3 for some reason. I don't know if it's because that's where my videographer was closer to. But I think I should have traveled more to the station, even though at station 3 there were different groups of kids I gave feedback to. I should have revisited that same group of students at different stations, and I found myself not doing that very often. Additionally, at station number 1, I would have included some more hockey sticks so there was no wait time. It would make more engagement the entire time in the class. And at the closure, I realized that I referenced and called on the same kids that I did at the beginning of the lesson. So I definitely need to utilize some type of randomizer, either on my iPad with one of those little randomizer wheels or some popsicle sticks. So make sure that students are focused. I wouldn't have had to remind them, hey, eyes on me at the end of that lesson. I could have just doing that would have made them more attentive the entire time. Next class period, students are going to have the opportunity to finish the stations that they went to. We're also going to play some little hockey games. We're going to do some more hockey related activities. And eventually I'm going to be moving it to different implements. Instead of striking with a hockey stick, we're going to use rackets, and we're going to reference what was different about this versus when we did the hockey unit. All right, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.